welcome to another episode of It's Time with Keandra Ward. I am your host, Keandra Ward. I am excited to be here another week with you guys. It has been an amazing month, you guys, already. If you have not seen the other episodes, you've missed singer, songwriter, Kalia Lene, realtor, Corey Kinder. Listen, and today, y'all ain't ready for what we got for you today. Y'all ain't ready for what we got for you today. I'm going to give you a little hint. I have on a color. I'm going to bring up our co-host for this month, Miss LaShawn. Hey, LaShawn.
Hello, darling. Hello.
You think we giving it away with these colors?
I think we both look marvelously colorful, darling. If they can't get it between all these two colors of magic and a little hint of fur, come on, y'all. Come on.
I saw it. I was like, okay, I see you, girl. I see what you're doing.
Yes.
So as you always do, give them a little bit about yourself. Tell them who you are, what you do, and why you do it real quick.
Yes, hello, and thank you for joining us at It's Time. Thank you, Keandra, for having me. I am the dream cultivator, LaShawn Spivey Angeletti, and my superpower is to help people tap into their gifts and talents. In addition to doing that for families as a whole, I do it for school districts, I do it for speaking events, I do coaching, but one of the most powerful things that I do is I give back by creating luxury retreats for women to get away. Special time for them to take a break, take their superwoman cape off, and really get loved on. And I have a fully staffed whole experience, y'all. It's a whole lifestyle change. So I'm really excited about serving in that manner. And I also do some wellness, sip and paint parties and things like that. But I am so excited about being here because it's time for so much. Are y'all ready?
Y'all better be ready. Listen, first of all, I have to thank you, LaShawn. It has been a great month. You have been an amazing host. I have to tell you, I've been getting text messages like, that was the best interview I've had in my life. So we've been doing good. I think we meshed well together.
Yes. Sound like a hint. Let's do some other stuff, darling.
We're going to have to do it. We're going to have to do it. So today, I also have to tell you something. I'm changing the title to Hot Topic. From Hot Topics, we're going to change it up a little bit. I want to do something a little different. So we'll talk about that. So you guys know today, we're going to have our special guest. We'll have a hot topic. LaShawn and I will get into the conversation. But before we do that, we're going to pause for notification, message, encouragement from our sponsor. All right. We are back. So LaShawn, y'all ready? Y'all ready for our guest today?
Girl, I'm over here. I'm sitting on the edge of the seat.
I know, like, for real, I'm getting excited. I'm getting like little kid, joy excited. I'm getting like excited. So let me tell you guys, there's always an opportunity for people to expand their reach, expand who they are, what they do, and why they do it, and do it in such an encouraging, vibrant, experience type of way, right? So I didn't tell you guys who our special guest is. Why you think I ain't telling them, LaShawn? Why we ain't telling them today? Why we ain't? Because usually we'll say names and we'll say,
I know. Let me tell you, I think we had to hold this one because sometimes we forget that there's a piece of us that gets that all feeling like, oh my goodness. And sometimes we need to be reminded. So I think it's magical that you say it and you didn't tell anybody. Okay, so if you saw the colors that we have on, if that gave you a little hint, I hope you're sitting on the edge. Listen, I'm on the edge of my seat, so excited. Y'all, my ponytail won't even stay in the pit. Okay, I am excited.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring our guest up, right? I'm just going to bring them up. And then we'll get to talking, but I'm not going to tell you. So I hope y'all ready. First of all, I hope y'all have your cups. I have y'all cup ready. Okay. Oh, she got her solo cup. Let's go. I mean, you know, they got drinks in there too.
Hello.
Oh my gosh. Hello. Welcome to It's Time. We know that this is the beginning of a very, very busy season for you guys. So thank you.
The interview with a little bit of something that we work on with the crowds.
Let's get hype.
So let's go and get the crowd hype. When I say Merry, you say Christmas, okay? When I say Merry, you say Christmas. Merry
Christmas.
Merry
Christmas. Great job.
Listen.
All right. That's how we get the party started.
I know that's right. The holidays are just a very special time for myself and my family. And so we're so excited to have you guys because there are a lot of times we don't see the representation that you guys present to the world as Mr. and Mrs. Claus. So thank you for your yes. Let me start there. Yes. Thank you for your yes. I want to say, so tell me, Santa and Miss Claus, what y'all got going on? Tell us what's going on over there.
Well, go ahead, Mrs. C.
Well, we've got a lot going on right now. As you said, we are gearing up for the season. We are officially under 100 days until Christmas. And as you can imagine, here at the North Pole, the elves are busy, the reindeer are running, and honey, we are getting things together. So we are preparing for all of the deliveries, but also photograph season because clearly we like a sparkle and we want to be able to help families make great memories during the holiday season and beyond.
True.
I know that's right.
Because one of the things that I like to say is that when we have an opportunity to create what we call memories, we want to make sure that it's something that's going to be special for you and your family, and something that you can also say, back when I was your age, I had an opportunity to see Santa and Mrs. Claus. And the thing that we also like to do is say, we may be a representation of how you look, but for every kid, we are the Santa and Mrs. Clauses that you need us to be when you see us.
I love that.
That's how we represent.
I love that. And you create a magical experience for children and families, right? So let's talk about that. What does Christmas with the Coleys look like?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'll say that Christmas with the Coleys looks like, if you can imagine, you pop over to Santa's house. It's what it really would look like if you could touch and talk to Santa and Mrs. Claus. There probably are going to be some cookies. Of course, we love a cocoa. There's a craft experience. You get to see the magic. Younger kids, they are blessed with a strong belief in the magic, right? And as we get older kids sometimes need to be able to tug on that beard to see whether or not he's real.
Just a reminder that the Christmas magic is real. But the most important part is that you have to believe in order for the magic to be right and special with you. So that's what we try to create, or not try to create. That is what we are creating, is that magic and belief that there is love and happiness enough in this world to spread around. And that's the key thing that we want to do, is spread love, happiness, and the joy of family and making memories last forever.
Wow.
How beautiful is that? So I want to ask, okay, so because you said for children, I know that there are some children. I believe that every person, especially adults, we have an inner child, and we don't let that inner child come out to play that often. So as you all do this, now I was excited to read about you all and what you're doing. I said, oh, they're year round. I'm loving it.
Yes.
How does that feel? And what is the response that you get from adults who, when you see that sparkle in their eyes, like, wow, they for real?
Adults are more, like you said, every adult, whether they want to admit it or not, has that inner child in them. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, all the time, the adults are more excited than the kids are.
Oh, yeah.
It's about giving yourself permission to let that inner child come out to play. And the one thing that we have found is when adults see Santa and Mrs. Claus, that's automatic permission for them to come out and play. The smiles are epic. Last year, we had a December birthday, and it was a request for a special baking treat, a coconut cake baked by Mrs. Claus. So I love to bake, as you can imagine. So I made a 3-layer coconut cake for a young at heart 86-year-old. And when we delivered it, her family had a family dinner for her at a local restaurant here. So when we delivered it to the restaurant, first, before we can even get in, there was a college student who shouted out, "Santa, Mrs. Claus, and ran clear across a parking lot and a very busy street to snap a selfie.
Oh, love it.
But when we got into the restaurant and we walked up behind her and presented her with the cake, tears of joy. She had never seen her personal Santa or a Santa that even remotely resembled who she was in all of those years.
Wow.
And if you can imagine, she was 86, her kids were all there, and their kids were all there. From about age, I would say 6 to the teens, and then adults, proper adults, and then it was herself and her husband, who were obviously older. And it was an entire family of connectedness. The kids will put down their cell phones.
That's beautiful. Generations.
Absolutely love that.
I had to hold myself. You almost made me cry.
Listen, I'm like, wait a minute. When you, what is that experience like for you, Santa, walking into a place and knowing that you have created a whimsical, magical life experience for somebody?
It's life-changing. It truly is. Because you feel that energy from the crowd,
right,
and knowing that they are seeing something that they will remember and cherish, and that's what it's really all about. So when a crowd is into it and they love what they see and they are participating, especially when we're doing the callback that we just demonstrated with you guys, it energizes you. It makes you feel like I can run through a wall.
Right.
And when the performance is over, because you have to pull some of their energy in order for you to get through a performance. So they can, and you're tired. I'm dead.
It can be tiring sometimes, but the energy of the families and the people that we interact with really keeps us going. And that first time that you see a child whose eyes get as big as saucers because they're so excited when they connect who you are, it's magic.
So I have a question. Okay, so I know you all get asked. You are like the epitome of I want. Everybody come to you and know that they have. I got a want. I'm hoping for. When it comes down to what you all do and the embodiment of it representing hope, because a lot of people don't realize that to see Mr. and Mrs. Claus represents a level of hope for people. Okay, and so what are some of the things that have touched you the most that people have asked for that you knew it was that they needed somebody to say yes to, you know what I mean, to that hope that they're just praying for a change? Would you mind sharing a couple of those things? Because I know that makes the journey even more, desirable to make sure that you're there and doing all the things that you all do.
The one thing we try not to do is try not to disappoint anybody.
So we don't make promises of what you're going to get. We talk a lot about whether or not you've been nice or kind. And people tend to speak to us about wishes, not just the stuff. And we make sure that when we're speaking to children and grown-ups, wish. So it goes beyond the toys.
Yes.
And not only that, you want to instill not only into the kids, but the adults. It's not about what you get. It's about what are you giving to others. Including yourself. What gifts can you give yourself? So we ask kids and adults, if you had no limitations, what would you be? What would you do? What would you wish for? And those things surprise you. We've gotten wishes for to be closer as a family. So then we gather them close and we'll say something like, get in this picture. Let's take an Elfie. Come on, scoot in like you love each other. And it causes a ripple of laughter throughout the group. Or we've seen families institute game nights and quizzes with each other because we're bouncing off questions and we allow them to ask us questions. And so we throw it back and forth.
Right.
One of the things that we also like to ask the children, what is something that you've done special around the house or for a neighbor or for another family member that wasn't asked of you? You did it on your own.
That's good.
Because of the fact that you want to do something special and nice for them.
That's the quickest way to get on the nice list.
Oh, I love that.
That's good. That's so good.
If you don't know, Santa is not in charge of the nice list. Mrs. Claus is.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Don't have my telescope.
Question. That was going to be my next
I have my Oculus so I can see whether or not you're being as nice or as kind as you possibly can.
Oh.
That was going to be my next question, because a lot of times we focus on Santa and the sleigh and that. But Mrs. Claus, listen, y'all, she got the goods, okay?
She's
You know,
the head
so
elf of operations.
she's the one, right? So tell us about that, the evolution of Mrs. Claus and the experience that you guys present.
So a lot of people, when they are looking for their Christmas experience, they're not necessarily thinking that they need a Mrs. Claus. And I gently remind them, gently of course, that Mrs. Claus brings more to the table than a smile. So I tend to wrangle the little loves, because a lot of times Santa's a pretty big guy. He's larger than life. And if you are spending your whole year being good so Santa will bring you something, right? And when you see him, not only can you be starstruck, but possibly a little intimidated.
Yes.
So of course, I talk to the kids, but beyond speaking to them and making sure they're comfortable, Mrs. Claus enjoys STEM activities and tinkering with things and crafting. So you might see Mrs. Claus out and about, perhaps at your local craft fair, or giving baking tips or creating something on social media or on YouTube, whereas you'll just typically see Santa delivering gifts because he's the head of our logistics team.
But a lot of people don't understand. Mrs. Claus is a part of getting logistics straightening out. That she's on the other end of the magic bag, presenting the toys through the magic bag.
Yes.
She is making sure that the sleigh is right. She's making sure that the reindeer are good to go. So, and keeping the elves in line. So being Mrs. Claus is pretty handy, because she's a part of scheduling, logistics. You know.
Now we have a whole team at ElfCo, the Elf Union. Honey, they are with it. But we do like to work together as a unit to make the magic happen.
That's beautiful. And I saw on social media, on your Facebook page, that was so engaging. Mrs. Claus danced a little bit too, y'all. I don't know if you saw.
Get
She is not playing. And if you want some good music, oh my goodness. I was on the page like, look at that. Wait a minute. I think this sun need to go away. This 100 degrees got to go away. I'm ready to play. So it was amazing. I really love the interaction that you have on that Facebook page, how engaging it is. And even the things that you're bringing up. It's so valuable for us to look at, having a positive onset all year long, not just counting down for holidays. And that's what I got from looking at the two of you on your page. I thought that was so empowering. So how much feedback do you get from people about your Facebook, your social media sites?
Well, oh my gosh, it really just depends. When we debuted the formal Reds, that went gangbusters. We shared it, and I'm always a little hesitant to post content too early in the season. Now, we live Christmas in our hearts all year round. Not everyone is on board with that. However, we had a request from one of our photographer friends to be able to share the red. So when we did it, we didn't expect much of a response. And within, I would say, 3 hours, like 250,000 people had seen it, several shared it, and then it just took off.
We had somewhere at that time close to 1,500 to almost 2,000 comments.
Mm-hmm. I think it's over 3 now.
Oh,
we have trouble keeping up with the comments sometimes.
Actually, it's over 3,500 comments.
Oh.
Y'all have to find some L's to that.
Yes.
And those comments are really great. We have people saying that I never knew this existed. Mm-hmm. You guys are all going to be the only Santa and Mrs. Claus my kids know. We've had comments from folks saying I actually cried when I saw this because of the representation. Yes.
Oh, and then my personal favorite, one of the ladies said, "See, I knew Santa didn't do all of this by himself." And I was like, yes, my friend. Yes.
Absolutely.
I love that. And LaShawn, the school Keystone had an event last month, and we had a special appearance from Santa and Mrs. Claus. I was so excited, y'all. Y'all don't even have. We had one. At the event, they have a piano. I done jumped on the piano. We're singing carols. We had an amazing time. So and that was an event full of adults, and we had a ball. Okay. Yes. So the experience all the way around, I think it's just for the entire family. And I love the fact that what you bring is not just for one segment of a family. It's for the entire family. And then, like you said, it brings families closer together. It creates an experience for families that they may not have had. I know myself, right? I'm an emotional creature. How do y'all do this and not bawl? I'd be like, oh my God. I mean, I would be
good question.
On another level. Like, I can't.
Well, sometimes there's been a tear or two shed in the car, on the sleigh, on the flight home. There's been some emotions, but we really do try to keep it as light as possible. And there are some tearjerker experiences and stories, but we key into the joy, I would say, right?
Yeah, you want to always try to stay within the moment. Mm-hmm. And that's the most important thing, because at the end of the day, it's not about how you feel, it's how the people that you've interacted, how they feel.
And we like to make everyone feel as joyful as possible. And even when that joy bubbles out, we let people feel those emotions, because that's great. That's probably joy that you had pent up and you didn't even know it was there. I mean, would you have sat on top of the piano if Mrs. Claus and Santa hadn't given you permission?
No, I would not have. To be honest, I would probably listen. I'm gonna have to post some of those images. I should have posted them in here. Listen.
Oh, I want to see. I want to see.
Gosh, listen.
But actually, we got a whole video of it.
Oh. I mean, it was amazing, and my team and staff had a great time, and they kept saying, we got to have them back. We got to find something else to do, and we got to do something. We got to do something, because it created such an experience for them, to where they were talking about, how can we incorporate my husband and my kids and my grandkids? Like, what can we do? Sure. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm looking all crazy. I'm feeling crazy. What can we do to really bring our families into this, because it brought so much laughter and joy to our team. It was absolutely amazing. So let's talk about, how can they find you? Like, if I'm interested in knowing more about an experience with you all, what would I do?
You would go to our website, coleymanor.com. or reach out to us via our social channels. Now, I will say these social channels are popping. So sending an email would be best.
I love that. All right, LaShawn.
So, okay, I'm just being still. Like,
I know, I see you. I see her shaking, so I was like, let me let her go. Let me let her go. That's why I said, all right, LaShawn.
So I want to know, because you all represent so much, all right, for so many people, because a lot of people assume the level of melanin a person has would assume you only service one. And that's not true, because children of every beautiful color and background, nationality, walk of life, they all need to see representation, not only of themselves, but of others, so that they are excited and enjoying learning about other people. So is there any place where children get to write to you all? Do you guys have any of that experience?
Yes. So we interact with kids quite a bit. And when we go to schools, then we do letter writing. But we will be launching something new on coleymanor.com. And it is a letter writing experience. So kids will have the opportunity to download a particular letter template or send Santa an email. And depending, Santa may respond to you in writing or online.
Wow, you guys hear that? You can get an email from Santa and Mrs. Claus. Y'all better be paying attention.
Mail, because we do support the U.S. Postal Service. So we will even send you a little sparkle through the mail.
Oh, I love it. So, okay, so that makes it so Rudolph's friends don't get mad that nothing came through the mail. That's so nice.
In families, we are typically, when we're not at the North Pole, we spend quite a bit of time in Florida. However, we are willing to travel. And if that is not an option, we do personalized video messages, and even virtual visits with Santa. We learned to do that one during the pandemic when Santa couldn't physically spend time and talk to everybody. We wanted to make sure that everyone had access. And what we found is we're able to bring that magical experience to you personally, and it's not rushed.
Wow. So you can get a one-on-one online with Mr. and Mrs. Claus.
But one thing I do want to make clear, children don't care about the color of Santa. Claus. They are truly oblivious. They are only concerned about, I just met Santa and Mrs. Claus.
Yeah.
That's it.
Do we have time for a story?
Sure.
Yes.
Well, I was asking them, dear.
Oh.
Yes.
So, do you want to tell them about young Colton?
Yes.
So, do you want me to tell them, love? Or do you want to tell them?
I'll go ahead and share this. We had, we were in Casual Claus in Savannah.
It was part of Christmas in July.
So we...
Hawaiian shirt.
Okay. And we were at a very popular ice cream parlor called Leopold's
in Savannah, Georgia.
Good. So we're standing in line, talking to Colton and his family, and to this point, he's not aware yet because he's about 5.
I think so, around about.
He's not aware yet on who we are because
it's about this tall.
Because we're in casual wear. So we're just talking. He's showing us his Batman t-shirt and telling us about all his classmates, how much fun he's had during the summer. And
his third favorite reptile. He did tell us about that.
And he was like, well, do you guys like dinosaurs? And we're like, yeah, we love dinosaurs. So one thing Mrs. Claus did was she asked his mom, do you guys celebrate Christmas? Is it okay if I give him something?
Because we always want to check to make sure that our traditions are okay to share with someone else who is not coming to us for a traditional experience.
Yeah. Right.
So mom said yes. And before that, I was referring to Santa as the big guy, as my love, as dearest. And there were some things, and we talked about like peppermint flavored ice cream and a little bit of signaling. And so you could see the wheels sort of turning. And he was trying to figure it out. And then it happened. This one, I think Colton said something funny. And this one laughed. And when he laughs, it sounds a bit like... And as you can imagine,
oh my God,
Colton's eyes got as big as saucers.
Oh my gosh.
Because he made the connection. And for the rest of the time we were in line, we had a friend in Colton. So he told us about his wish list and what he had gotten. And he was so very appreciative of the bike and the food for his lizard and all of the things and what he wanted to do special for his mom and grandma. And he asked for help with that. So that's one of those things that we love to help kids understand and talk through, because he didn't even ask for anything for himself. He wanted to surprise his mom and grandma with something.
But here's the most important thing that Mrs. C forgot. She gave him, we have stickers that has a picture of us saying, I got caught being good by Santa and Mrs. C. So gave him I leaned into him and says, now you can tell people you met the big guy. And that's in his eyes like, I'm with Santa.
So of course we took an Elfie with the family and talked until we all got ice cream.
Oh my gosh! First of all, I'm a tad bit jealous because I was in your presence and I ain't get no stickers, so maybe I ain't get caught. Okay,
I mean, you have to be doing something good. You have to get caught being good.
Okay, I gotta be good. Gotta be good. Gotta be good.
Gotta be good.
That's amazing. I love the fact that, as LaShawn was saying, it's all you celebrate, encourage, and create an experience all year round. I know that, a lot of people were talking. So explain to them, you mentioned Christmas in July. I don't think a lot of people really know what Christmas in July is. What is that?
You want me to take this one?
I want you to take that one.
So, as I said, we celebrate Christmas all year long. However, Christmas in July started as a tradition to keep the magic going. It started because children who were away from their parents at summer camp were starting to feel lonely. And a lot of people don't realize that's where it started. It started years and years ago at a summer camp. And so over the years, it has morphed into the midpoint. So Christmas in July typically is celebrated on the 24th and 25th of July. Of course, we're a little bit extra, so we celebrate the entire month. However, we do small acts of kindness. We do small appearances. You might see us at the beach or at an ice cream parlor. We tend to do all the things that we would do typically in December, but a summertime fun version. So you might be on vacation and bump into Santa and Mrs. Claus.
Because Santa loves a good snack.
I heard of a story. Santa was in the water somewhere and ran into somebody, right?
Oh, yes. I was talking with a gentleman. We were at the beach, actually.
In the Bahamas.
Yes. I had one of my elves with me. And he was over there relaxing because, we got a busy season coming.
Right.
I was in the water talking with a parent, and the dad was like, when I told him who I was, he was like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Sure." He said, you would get me so great cool points if you would just come and talk to my 5-year-old daughter.
He wanted the dad bonus points.
No, that's right.
Whatever in your debt, if you could just. So I went over to the little girl. I looked at her and said, "Do you know who I am?" And she just says, "No." "Are you sure? Look harder." And then I hit her with the and all of a sudden her eyes got as big as saucers. I said, "Yes, it's me." Oh. So I just told her, "You can't tell anybody that you saw me because I'm on vacation." "You were a good girl?" She says, "Yes, and I have." I said, "So what do you want for Christmas?" And her dad was right there, so that was a good look. Santa, I just want a Barbie and a Barbie playhouse. I think that could be arranged. So I said, "But like I said, you can't tell anybody that you saw me." She says, "So you promised me, right?" She says, "Yes, Santa, I won't tell nobody." So I saw her later on the cruise in the candy shop, went and introduced myself again, and she saw me and she was in a daze again. So I looked at her because she was with her mom. Said, "Did you tell anybody our secret?" "No, Santa, I didn't tell anybody." "Yes, she did, Santa. She told us, her brothers, her auntie, her cousins, everybody in the suite that you hear." That's all right. She still did a good job. She's still on the nice list.
I love that.
That's precious. That is precious. So, Mr. and Mrs. Claus, how can we encourage? How can those of us who may not have seen you in person yet, and we're excited about making sure that we submit to encouraging people around us, just like your team would do, like an elf would do? Give us some tips. What, as an honorary elf, what can I do to support the mission Santa and Mrs. Claus have?
Well, it's always nice, especially if you follow us on our social media pages, that you share the clip. That's the biggest thing, is to share it, so people out there know that we're here and we're here celebrating and promoting love and joy and good cheer,
and that you've got direct access. So once people know that you've got direct access, then it's all about encouraging kind behavior, because nobody can be nice all the time, and we understand. Sometimes we get notes like, "Dear Santa, I have some explaining to do." And that's fine with us. But if you encourage everyone to be kind, and you yourself show what kindness looks like. True kindness, not just the niceness that we see maybe on the commercials. But if you help everyone see that spreading joy, being kind, inspiring others, even if it's sometimes just a listening ear.
Because if you look at what's going on in the world today, we can use a little bit of love and
just a sprinkle of joy.
And joy. Because it's been rough these past couple of years.
But luckily, we've all made it through.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you never know. Sometimes you might just get a personal hello from Santa and Mrs. Claus when you connect to us. So
yes, you can also shout people out on our social media. So if there is a child or an especially good adult that you want to have a shout out, send us a note. And you may be picked.
I love it.
Listen, when I tell you guys, you give me all the feels, okay? You guys give me all the feels. I am just excited. Like, our cheeks are hurting. We've been smiling the whole time. We've been like... The entire time we have not stopped smiling, and the whole time we're like, oh. So I'm excited because, you know, we give our audience an early gift from Santa, some of them, right? So I'll let you guys tell us about it. What can happen?
Oh, I'm bouncing in my seat. I'm so excited. We are giving 5 lucky viewers a personalized video message to the person of your choice from Santa and Mrs. Claus.
Woo! So at the bottom of your screen, you'll be able to find how to enter. And I mean, listen, you better get in there fast because we're going to pick the first 5. We're not doing the drawing. We're not doing all of that. The first 5, go ahead and put it in there. Get the information right at the bottom of the link. First of all, thank you for being so gracious. Thank you for, pleasure. I mean, that's at this point, I'm like, put my name in that.
Listen.
See who I can, who I can nudge. Like, put your name in the bin now. Put your name. Follow the instructions.
I'm trying not to cheat and drop my name while we talking.
We will happily send you a video.
Look, secretly get my phone out.
We'll let the audience have their 5, and then we'll do yours separately. We promise.
Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Claus. I'm excited.
Very welcome.
You're so welcome.
So let's go ahead and tell them again, where can they find you? If you are interested in knowing more about Mr. and Mrs. Claus, the experience, and what they provide for you and your family, where can they find you?
www.coleymanor.com. Again, that's www.coleymanor.com. Of course, our socials for Facebook, it's Christmas with the Coleys. That's our page. And then our TikTok is Soulful Santa
and Mrs. Claus.
You know we like to dance.
Okay. So this is my I have so many questions. I'm like, this is gonna be the last one. I promise you this is the last question. Santa, I promise Mrs. Claus is the last one. But how is that experience of being that now we are in the social age, going through social media and choosing which platform and being able to continue the content all year around. So how is that experience for you guys? Because I know you have to do the logistics, you have to showcase who you are, so we know where to find you. Then you're out presenting, you're out sharing the love outside. So how do you manage, because that's a lot, you know what I'm saying? How do you manage all of that? And then showing up online, because we know that the online space is a huge space for Santa and Miss Claus.
Well, being as old as we are, sometimes we're a little technologically challenged. However, However, as part of Mrs. Claus's duties in Elf Company, we have determined that it's best to spread a little joy in places where people wouldn't always have access to. So we shoot basically our everyday lives. So if you see us dancing or laughing, it's because our home is full with dance or laughter. Now, it is a bit different being seen on the mortal realm, because heretofore we've just sort of hung out at the North Pole. But sometimes, and we've been recognized when we go to pop out for a bite to eat.
Oh, wow.
And that part is new and different. Now, I will say, choosing the platforms, we just went with where we thought could use the most magic. Now, there are a couple of platforms that maybe need to get off the naughty list before we join them.
Understand.
Maybe. But we found that just being us and showcasing which parts we want to share,
right,
it's fun. But one of our friends, you probably know him as Clark Kent, shared with us the secret to having a good life. And that's to have an alter ego when you come to this realm. So sometimes you'll see Santa and Mrs. Claus, and we won't tell you our alter ego names, but just in case you bump into us, you'll know. And that's how we survive in both spaces.
I love that. I love that. I will tell you guys that I have experienced the Christmas season in the North Pole. Listen, y'all, it's a situation, okay? It's a whole, listen, you do not want to miss the experience. It really, listen, it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. And I mean, I'm a fangirl. I am I don't have the words to express how excited I am to see you all just spread the love and joy the way that you've been doing it. You know, it's amazing to watch. It's amazing to watch because no matter what life brings, there's still joy. You know what I'm saying? There's still joy. So I am excited for you guys. I am so excited. LaShawn, what you saying over there? I see that head go.
You know why? Because can I share just a tiny story?
Oh,
That's
sure.
a big deal, and I think I'd be remiss not to share this with you too, because it's about you. When my oldest, I have 5. When my oldest, she's 25 now. When she was little, I would prepare for Santa's visit. I mean, I just went all out. Like, we had an apartment, so I left stencil for you on the door. She was devastated. Like, we don't have a fireplace. How are we gonna do this? I mean, she would be crying like, he's not gonna come. He's not gonna come see me. I'm like, I promise, he's coming. He's coming. So I would do all of the extra stuff. I made sure everything you needed was there. I left the key under the mat. I left you a special note. You remember where to get the note, to get the key, the whole 9. And I remember one year she came to me. She was about 9, and she was distraught. Mommy, Santa Claus is fake, huh? Now, mind you, she had been teeter-totting because at school, you know, people have been talking. A lot of stuff had been happening. And it had been happening for a couple years. And she's the one who, she loved Santa and Mrs. Claus. She loves the Tooth Fairy. She loved, the Easter Bunny for real, 7 feet and all of that. And she had a friend, Dragon, who used to come and tear up her room until she got put on punishment, and he had to find somewhere else to live. She didn't like that.
No fire came to her room?
He lived with us for like a year, Mrs. Claus. For a year, he lived with us. And I would tell her, stop leaving the window open. I kid y'all not. She was leaving the window open for him the whole 9. So anyway, I just told you the background so you know. Yeah, and I didn't want to say her name right now, so I just want to remind y'all who she is with some of the details without making her feel like, Mommy, I'm 25. Why would you say my name with Mr. and Mrs. Claus? Okay. So I want to tell you this because it's such a testimony to the hope and power that you have, that you all instill in children. And so she had said, she came, Mommy, he's fake. Santa's fake, huh, Mommy? I said, well, she said, you've been giving me all the gifts, haven't you? And I was like, by that time, I wanted to get credit for all of it because I was tired. All the other stuff I had to do, I was tired. I was just tired, and she probably caught me when money was tight, and I felt like, girl, I'm tired. I'm not leaving no more doors open. I'm tired, right? I said, yeah, baby. She said, she said, I just know it is. I just know it. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, she don't believe no more, then I'm with it. Let's go. I hear, and I turned and looked. She was like, And she's holding her breath. And when she released it, she was like, "You mean?" And she was shaking. "You've lied to me all this time." And she bawled so hard.
Oh.
I have broken her spirit in 5 seconds. I had taken away everything that she had believed, all the hope she had, all the things, the countdown of her feeling special and feeling. And it wasn't even about, she said it was never about the gift. It was about the countdown that he was coming to see me. That I had done my best and he was coming to see me. I'm special. And so I had to tell her, I apologized. And I said, Mommy was in the moment was mad and selfish because the stuff that I do to get ready for Santa so he's comfortable is sometimes it's expensive. And I do extra because I love you and I know you love him. And I ain't asking him for nothing. So I'm tired. But guess what? He is real as long as you say he real. So you tell me when you want to let Santa only visit other kids. And until then, that's what it's going to be. And when I tell you, every year from then, not only did she say, Mommy, how are we going to prepare for Santa? When our family became blended and my husband said, listen, can we do more Kwanzaa, this and this and that? She said, Mommy, I know Santa needs to take care of some other kids. It's okay. We've already talked. Oh, y'all.
Oh,
I love it.
And that's why I mean that the magic is so important to keeping these children's lives because it matters. It makes a difference.
It does.
Absolutely.
And you can let her know that Santa and Mrs. C also celebrate Kwanzaa.
Mm-hmm.
We do.
And you know what? She's the one who told me. How about that?
Now, before we go, for all those parents who are preparing, my love, do you have your full belt on? Do you have your keys?
No, I do not.
So I will tell you, we have our bell. Can you hear it?
yes.
So this is the magic bell. So we don't have to ring your doorbell. So if you hear this, you know we're coming. And Santa sometimes misplaces his keys. But I guarantee you, we have magic keys. So no more leaving your key under the mat. We already have a magic key. It creates a fireplace. We pop in and then pop back out.
I wish that mine knew that.
We should have had this conversation years ago. But please tell her that we said hello.
I sure will.
Thank you for allowing us to visit all of the others. Sometimes those extra few minutes that children give Santa back helps us to deliver extra presents to those in need.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Claus, we thank you guys. It has been such a pleasure. Again, you can find them at www.coleymanor.com.
Thank you guys for having us. It was a blast. I had a really good time.
Really great time. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Beautiful spirits. Thank you so much for all that you do.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas, my loves.
So up next, I'm excited to talk about some yesterdays maybe in the week. I don't know. How would I put that? Let me bring my co-host up. Let me see what she say.
Let's see. I don't know. Do we call it a siesta? Do we call it a 3-day weekend? What do we call it?
What do we call it? Do we call it I don't know. So
I wish I could call it double for your trouble, honey, because
let me cue them in on what we're talking about. Okay. So there has been an article that went around in the news that saying California was looking at making their work week a 4-day work week versus a 5-day work week. Then just recently here in Tampa, so let me give you guys a backstory. LaShawn is California, I'm in Florida, right? So here in Tampa, in the Tampa Bay area, we there has been an article that came out this past week that said that they're looking at doing a 4-day school week for the kids. So we have 4-day work week in California and 4-day school week in Florida. So look, LaShawn, okay, so if they went to 4 days in California, what would that look like? I mean, really, let's be
okay.
real.
So if they went to 4 days, now they're talking about companies that had 500 or more employees. All right. Mm-hmm. So, you know, some of y'all who work at smaller companies, don't be high-fiving because y'all might not have the resources for that. They're talking about bigger companies. However, right. I know there's a couple things that it could do. It could change our, instead of Friday being, or possibly Friday being the worst traffic days for us, it might be Thursday now, you know. If we had, you would hope, especially as an educator, I would hope we would have less issues in our school because parents would have the actual time to come pop in or visit or volunteer. Right. I would hope that it would give you that. There will be maybe even some school districts can do some type of incentives, you know, to help with that, to encourage parents. I know people would love to have a business day, a Monday through Friday set to be able to take care of things while their kids are at school. But it would be nice to make the school be a part of one of your things you got to do too.
Right.
That involvement is imperative, and because we are having a hard time. Okay, so and I say that because academics overall and discipline, right. COVID, it was already pre-COVID had challenges, but it's been excessive now across.
You know what? My daughter went to a charter school, and it was a part of the requirement that we did volunteer hours.
Exactly.
So, do you think that it should be required or just an experience since they have that time off?
Well, see, the thing is, for legislature, that would start at. I mean, you know, that's a whole nother voting thing. There's no legislation that says that we have the right for that. In public school setting, you don't have that. You can't mandate.
Right.
Charter basically is a private school with public funding. That's basically what charter is, for short way to say it. So they have the freedom and the ability to put in their bylaws, like, listen, we're going to require parent involvement. Public school does not have that same luxury. All right. So
that would have to go through laws and voting and things like that.
And then baseball, it will be by state, by county, by district, because they all get to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Because somebody might vote in for the state of California, and then Orange County say, no, we're not doing that. Then what do we do? You know what I mean? Right. Then Johnny got it down here, but Michael don't have it 2 cities over. It's just, you know, so those are some of the things. That's one thing that I would be thinking about. And I think we probably could adapt to the fact with the trafficking and all of that, because we are trying to it probably would allow big companies to spread out, you know, some of the work differently. So then that would help with the influx, where we will get a little bit more of a steady pace than one impacted day at the end of the week, as far as traffic and all of those things. I know we are still having a hard time with getting in a lot of service industries, grocery stores, fast food, things like that. They still understaffed post-COVID. People, the at-home companies are still thriving. Like, people are like, no, I'm good. I'm not going back into the department store because I can make the same money at the house. So
that makes sense.
What that would do, you know, what that would do for us here. I wonder also what it would do competitive-wise as far as salaries. Because if they're doing that, I wouldn't be surprised if more hourly people, companies are going to say, wait, hold on. I'm not paying the salary I was paying you for 40 hours and you have all these benefits and everything. You're only doing 32. But it says in here that what they are implying, what they are proposing means that people will still get their salary. Companies will still have to pay them. And then if you worked over the 32, that's 1.5 above.
That's 1.5 above. Yep.
So that's tricky. I think that's amazing for people. I'm at the end of the day, I know that the companies are going to be trying to figure out how to maximize what they can get out of it.
Looks like,
and not have to come out their pockets. I hate to say that, but the big boys don't want to come out their pocket. So
that's what I was thinking. Even though, like, corporations, they may even think about moving their headquarters. You know what I'm saying? That's something to even consider. I looked at it from a business standpoint. If I'm a corporation, what would this look like financially in the long run? Could they, even think about moving their headquarters or moving some of their base?
And the reality check is most of our huge companies that are around the world killing it, their home base is not California. It's Arizona, it's Texas. That's on purpose. They already doing that for the tax cut that they listen, don't get on here and say nothing crazy to me and be like, what's your expertise? I do enough research just like them.
Right.
To know where they are.
We have a lot of headquarters.
Honey, this been full. This has been full. I got to see Santa Claus. I got to tell him my testimony about my baby. We got to talk about some of this.
Listen,
From Florida to California, what we gonna do? What they about to do with our minutes and our money? Because that's really what it is.
Our minutes and our money. Okay, it has been such an amazing episode, and we're winding down to the experience. We got one more week with you as our co-host, and again, I cannot thank you enough, LaShawn. Like, I cannot thank you enough for being here. It has been amazing. Like I was saying before, I've been getting text messages and inboxes after. That was a great experience. I had such a great time. You guys flow very well together. Listen, you guys, again, LaShawn, thank you for joining me again today. It has been absolutely amazing. We got all the feels and thrills. Yes. Our cheeks are hurting. I mean, my cup of cocoa at this point.
I got to come up out this fur after I saw Santa Claus. I'm like, okay, I finished Santa.
I have been good, okay? I have been good. But thank you guys, and thank you for joining me again today, LaShawn. I cannot wait. Next week is our final episode of the month.
No problem. No
Definitely
problem.
are going to have to do this again. So we will see you next week.
All right. See you all next week. Guess what? It's time.
It's time. Ooh, guys, now, wasn't today full? That was good. We had some good conversation. Got to meet Mr. and Mrs. Claus. So join us next week. Remember, we are here Tuesdays at 9 p.m. If you're interested in being a guest on the show, visit the website below and click the Be a Guest link on the show. Reach out to us. Let's hear from you. We want to see what you are doing in the world. Now, you guys know, if you followed me for any length of time, you know that helping people become visible and be who God has called them to be is a gift. It's my journey. It's what I'm called to do in this world. And being able to do that here at It's Time through our ad sponsorship program is just another avenue for me to be able to do that. So what I want you to do, if you're ready to gain more visibility to your brand, cultivate relationships like never before, visit the website below, click on the ad sponsorship option, and let's talk. What a great show. Make sure you join me next week right here. Same time, same place, Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good evening.